so out onto Carisbrook come the North and South teams, and certainly all the old-timers here at Carisbrook and at home will welcome back this game, which was once so much a big part of New Zealand rugby. And there's the captain of the North Island, Sean Fitzpatrick. And Mike Brewer, the captain of the South, retains his position. He was the captain of the South Island way back in 1986, the last time this game was played. So we're getting set for what is the inter-island rivalry resumed. But more than that, it's the start of the long journey towards possible World Cup selection. And here's a young man from South Auckland who would dearly love to be in that party of 26 heading next month to South Africa, Jonah Lomu. Look for a big game from him today. Jeff Wilson, also one of the big stars of sport here in Otago on his home track. And if he plays as well for the South Island as he's done in recent weeks for Otago, then he'll be well positioned, of course, to be a big part of the New Zealand team at the World Cup. It's the inter-island rugby rivalry, North against the South, and New Zealand's World Cup referee Colin Hawke has charge of today's game. And away they go with a kick from Jeff Wilson. South Island and North Island, they're in their traditional colours, the white of the South Island, and we have many tremendous rivalries to check on today. But as they kick it across and head for the first line out, time to bring in Greg Cooper. A bit of a mix there between the young and the old. Fitzpatrick and Anton Oliver, some great battles today, Greg.
Yes, that's right, Keith. Certainly some big battles ahead of us this afternoon. Then one in particular is in the midfield with Tabai Batson and against the very well-performed Frank Bunce. But all through this, these two teams, great battles ahead, and we should have an interesting game ahead of us for the next 80 minutes.
Well, that was Robin Brooke going high, and that was jumping across the gap, a free kick for the North Island. Now John Preston is there, number 9. So we'll try to attend to the names and numbers thing a bit more than we usually do. A lot of the players in unfamiliar uniforms. Preston back to Carlos Spencer, and he gives it a big thump. But it's Mark Ellis who takes it on the right wing for the South Island, and he likes to have a go. Eric Rush grabs him near halfway.
Well, it's good to see a player like Mark Ellis getting the ball early on. He's an exciting player. We see Eric Rush, who took Mark Ellis in the tackle there. Mark Ellis is an important player for the South if he can get involved early and use his skills.
Fitzpatrick to throw the 2 number 7s at the back. That's an interesting battle. It's Michael Jones against Paul Henderson. Holding down the jumper. The white forwards, the South Island forwards, have tried to disrupt the first 2 lineouts and been pinged by referee Colin Hawke. Keith, holding down the jumper that time.
Keith, talking to a few of the players yesterday in both sides, they're a little bit edgy, a little bit keen, and you might see a little bit of this early on because they've got a big few weeks ahead of them. There's Paul Henderson, number 7. He's taking a claim for the World Cup, but it's important for these players to settle down because the World Cup's only around the corner and they'll want to perform in this game today.
So the 2 number 7s are off this line out. The jumpers and the assistants are there this time, the 4s and 5s and 1s and 3s. And there's the new interpretation of the law as Graham Bashett hurries it out. Scrum in 15. You can assist at the top of the jump. Now here we have the battle of the front rows. This is another one. There's Anton Oliver. What a baptism of fire for him in the big time today. Hooker in the South Island team, just 19 years of age. And the North Island pack is a pretty fearsome looking bunch, but Richard Lowe is in the front row for the South, along with Nick Moore on the far side. So Sean Fitzpatrick and Olo Brown, number 3 in the black, and Craig Dowd. So the North scrum went down, and it's a penalty for South. We haven't seen much rugby yet in the first 3 minutes, and we've had 3 penalty kicks. There's Stephen Bashett. Now, Stephen Bashett came into the team with the withdrawal of Andrew Mertens. So with Mertens and Bashett, they seem to have the first 5/8 position covered in the All Black calculations, but we'll wait and see on performance today. Craig Dowd, Olo Brown, Fitzpatrick. So looking through to Anton Oliver, who's an Otago player, But look at that from Larson getting right across before the throw, and it's down for Preston. Away to Carlos Spencer. Lee Stensness. Frank bunts it halfway. It's a bit slippery this week on the cricket pitch. Graham Bashop to his brother, who gets a pass away to Tumbai Matson, the big fella. Tumbai Matson having a go. Wilson gets the points. Matson made it. And what a beginning for these two fine South Island outside backs. The South Island in the lead by 5-0.
Yes, good run from Matson. He saw the gap and really turned on the gas. But as you'll see in the replay here, Jonah Lomu probably didn't turn and chase hard enough alongside Jeff Wilson here. He just sort of relaxed in his run, and Wilson saw that, got on the outside of Lomu, and by that stage it was just too late. And with the pace of Jeff Wilson, he had a good, easy run into the line.
Jeff Wilson to attempt to convert the opening try. His goal kicking's been a bit in and out, up and down this season, but he got in with a very good opening try in the game. The North Island captain will not be happy. So that's away from Wilson, but he got the try. It's 5-0. The South Island back in the match with the North, first time for 9 years, have the early first points. So that was a setback for the early hopes of the North Island. They're the team with 13 big names who've already been All Blacks, and Glenn Osborne and Carlos Spencer. So it's a who's who of New Zealand rugby in the Blacks. And that's one from Preston, which was a bit unkind to Michael Jones. It was hard and low, and now the South have it again, the Bashop brothers. And that's a good push by Stephen Bashop. A couple of good authoritative kicks to get him underway.
Yeah, that's right. It was well cleared up by the South Island there. Jamie Joseph hitting in hard out to Graham Bashop, to his brother Steve, and lovely poised rugby, just hitting it up the line and clearing the pressure that was on them at the time.
So there's Brendan Timmins and Richard Lowe, Grant Kelly. Up they go again. Ian Jones right off the top to Preston to Spencer. Stensis left out. Bunce right out to Lomu. With him is Bunce. Near halfway. Tumbai Matson down here and pointing across in case it comes his way. He made that lovely run which led to the try. The two halfbacks meet. And Graham Bashop, number 9 in the white, was ahead of the last foot, the hindmost foot as they say, and the penalty's gone the North Island's way.
Keith, interesting to see them get the ball quick to Jonah Lomu. Obviously an indication they want to use him, but he was caught well in the tackle by Tumbai Matson.
So Carlos Spencer, the Auckland first 5/8, was a bit slow away at the start of the season with a shoulder problem. Well, Ian Jones against Grant Kelly got a big leap at the last line out. Anton Oliver in the foreground. Pitching towards outside arm by Michael Jones. Free kick. But he seemed to be held. Michael Jones indicating that he was held. This is an impeccable sportsman, and when he speaks out, it's usually with quite a bit of authority. And there it is on the short side. That was Simon Forrest up. Now here's Anton Oliver. And the referee is playing an advantage for the South Island. Bashop, he's got a big pass right out to Ellis. The Otago boys featuring early here today. Glenn Osborne for the first time. Note the thigh bandage. He's been under a bit of a cloud. Lomu running into the sticky part of the field. It's near halfway again.
Well, Jonah Lomu showing his strength there, running in, able to hold on to the ball, but not able to get it released back to his backs.
Down on the slippery part of the field. This is a bit difficult for referee Hawke here. This is the part that has been hammered a bit by the wet weather during the week. So he's going to police this side. But it's always Inzanbrook to Preston. Caught there by Mike Brewer near halfway. That is the halfway line. The penalties continue to come.
It was well wrapped up by Mike Brewer. Read it well. Preston a dangerous runner from the base of the scrum, but Brewer saw he was throwing the dummy pass and quickly nailed him.
Well, the South Island look as though they're going to get whatever scraps they can and get it out into the back line. Ton by Matson. What a good run that was, leading to the first try by Jeff Wilson. Short to the front. That's Moore. That's Oliver. He's got a good one loose at the front. Planted it well. Basham off the floor to his brother. And that's the third very good kick indeed by Otago's Stephen Basham.
And it's good to see early on Keith, he's timing the ball particularly well. It's nice to hit that spiral and spiral it long, and he's doing that and getting a good service from his brother at halfback.
New Zealand's Colts hooker last year in that win over Australia, and the under-19 captain. Straight out to Matson again. Stensis and Paul Henderson there. Brewer. The three loose forwards. This is Joseph. Ellis pulls it in. South Island have come to play open football. A bit of a tussle. Matson, Forrest. And that's against Michael Jones. Offside out in the middle. And this is a handy position for the South Island. Michael Jones having a game at the open side flanker today. Mostly this year he's been used as number 8 and blind side in the games we've seen.
Here we see Michael Jones. He was caught offside there. Referee Hawke picking it up early, but the movement broke down with a pass just coming in behind Forrest. But wasn't it interesting, Keith, to see three loose forwards involved in that movement there? Henderson took the first pass onto Brewer, onto Joseph, and a very good loose forward play.
11 minutes gone. South Island already have the lead by 5-0. And now it's 8-0 with a Jeff Wilson penalty. And they thoroughly deserve that good early lead, because they've played with confidence and authority. Well, it's a bit early to be talking about upset victories with only 10 minutes gone, but there are 13 All Blacks in the black team today from the North Island. And they've started slower than their South Island opponents. And back in the history of the North-South game, there have been a few upsets indeed by the South Islanders. Fitzpatrick. They're the two number 7s at the back, Jones and Henderson. Over towards Blair Larson. Robin Brooks straight to Spencer. Stensness. Frank Bunce. Good tackle by Henderson. My word, he's made some early moments in the game, has Paul Henderson.
Well, that's clever play, Lee Stensness. Bobble pass and then quickly readjusting and putting it over the top. Well done, Lee Stensness.
Paul Henderson is interesting. At the end of last season, I think he was close to giving the game away. But Southland got promoted to Division 1. He's back into the big stuff, and now perhaps looking down the barrel of All Black selection again. Big jump by Jones. Preston. Stensness running nicely. There's Eric Rush. Jones was inside, and I think Henderson got to him a bit soon. That was a bit naughty. Did the referee see it? He didn't. That was a promising move. Eric Rush looking through the middle.
Yes, that's right. Good play from the Black Backs, but I think you called it right there, Keith. Here we see Paul Henderson in the background, just taking Michael Jones there, but referee Hawke not seeing it. But what a great battle, Henderson versus Jones.
Well, they'll shadow each other all the way. Look at that from the North Pack. And Preston has it away to Spencer. They just pushed him straight off. It's Larson now 10 metres out. Preston again. Zinzanbrook lost it. And Graham Bashop clears it to touch. The South Island scrambled that one. Zinzanbrook was running at real speed, but just left it behind.
Yes, here we see Zinzanbrook taking a reasonably strong tackle from Steve Bashop, but Zinzanbrook very hard to stop that close to the line.
So the North Island showing some of their power and authority by reputation, putting it into practice then. And here they are just talking it through in the forwards with John Preston. The injured player is Nick Moore, and he's heading for the sideline. And this will be interesting because this will give the chance for Stu Lowe to come in, unless it's a blood bin job, and he might be back. So Stu Lowe comes on to join his cousin Richard in the front row for the South Island. And he goes into mark Craig Dowd. 15 minutes gone. It's 8-0 to the white team, South Island, with the number 20 on the field, Stu Lowe, replacing Nick Moore. And that's there for John Preston. Good service to Stensness. The tackler is number 12, John Leslie. And there's Paul Henderson trying to tip up Eric Rush. And they're only 5 metres out. Danger here for the South Island. And it's Craig Dowd who picks it up. But he ran straight into Kelly from Canterbury. And in fact, the other lock forward too, Timmins. This is tough football in there. And it's a good chance now for the North Island. Well, this is a long history. This game, it began way back in 1897. Look at the advantage the North have. A win today would give them 50 in the series. South have only had approximately half that number.
It's an ideal opportunity here for the North. They can go either way. Big Jonah Lomu could be dangerous out this side of the field. Here we see the backs lined out left and right.
So it's Brown against Stu Lowe on the near side now. Brooke, Jones, Lomu, hard to stop. Very hard to stop. Unstoppable, Jonah Lomu. It was a move that never got right up to running, flowing speed, but he has the power, and he's over.
Yes, here we see the short pass from Michael Jones to Jonah Lomu, and very big, very strong, and just able to brush off those tackles there. Not too many players could do that. He's a big, strong athlete, as Jonah Lomu.
Have a look at Paul Henderson here. He tries to stay with the man, desperate for his place in the All Blacks, hanging on, and in the end, hanging on by his jersey. But Lomu is all power, and over he goes. Remember, this is 110 kilograms. Preston taking the shots at goal for the North Island. And it's away to the left. Lomu's try is unconverted. The South lead by 8-5 after 17 minutes.
Keith, there's no need to push the panic button, but some of the goal kickers will want to start landing their kicks, just getting their confidence up and leading into the World Cup.
Preston a high push. Forrest and Wilson. Wilson took the catch, Lomu onto him. Lomu was a little uncertain in that defensive work when Wilson scored, but the try will probably boost his confidence. Graham Basham.
Come on!
Osborne coming through, takes it out.
Very good kick from Graham Bishop, not allowing that to come infield and keeping it close to the touchline.
Well, there is the great man himself who holds the record for most games in this series. 12 times he played in the Inter-Island game for the North Island. Anton Oliver, nice throw, but it's gone on the north side. Stensness trying to get past Leslie. That'll be a hard job. One of the soundest midfield defenders in New Zealand, John Leslie. Carlos Spencer again running wide. Oliver the tackler. There is Stu Lowe. And they're scrabbling it for Graham Bishop. Slightly interfered with. Stephen Bishop running. Jeff Wilson. Good pass. Good run. 22 metres line. Hard hit on Wilson.
Well, that's the power of Frank Bunce. Jeff Wilson, a strong runner, tried to come inside Frank, and it was a powerful tackle that just stopped him in his tracks.
Yes, he felt that one on his left thigh. And, well, will he come in and take a shot at goal from here, Jeff Wilson? Hard men in these two forward packs. There's Robin Brook, Olo Brown. Well, Wilson is going to have a shot from here. He was hit really hard on that tackle by Bunce and fell heavily on his left thigh. There's Olo Brown with the old sleeve tucked in there. That's to stop the opposing prop pulling down and using the sleeve as leverage. So it's 21 minutes gone. He's hit it nicely. And it's high above the post and just outside.
Well, the South Island really haven't got another backup kicker. Mark Ellis does a little bit of part-time. But really the pressure is on Jeff today. It's right on his shoulders to kick the goals.
Spencer kicks. Number 4, there's Brendan Timmins and Jamie Joseph with the socks down. Richard Lowe, number 1. They pulled the maul down, said referee Hawkins. A penalty for the South Island. It's close to the 22. We'll see what Mike Brewer says here. And they're going to have a shot at goal again. Wilson coming in once more. Quite a high penalty count on the first quarter of the game, Greg.
Yes, and as I said, Keith, it's that eagerness, that aggression before the game, the nerves, and hopefully that'll just the players will get that out of the system and play good rugby.
What about this goal-kicking business? It's realistically, the selectors probably aren't looking at Jeff Wilson as an all-black goal kicker, are they?
No, I don't think so. I think they'll obviously a good backup, and if someone gets injured, he may have to come on, but I would say he won't be one of the front-line kickers.
He's had 2 misses so far. It's on its way. He's hit this one beautifully, and it's through. And after 22 minutes, the South lead the North by 11-5 in Dunedin. A try each and 2 penalties to the South Island. They lead by 6 early in the second half of the first spell. Carlos Spencer's been going quite well in the first part. Preston to Bunce to Osborne. This is just on the South Island side of halfway. Paul Henderson, the referee, gets involved. Out to Leslie. Forrester's up. Mike Brewer out there. Simon Forrester's number 15 for the white team. And there's Joseph. He got it from John Leslie. And he's trying to get it back, and that's the ball that's got on the north side. He fell awkwardly, Joseph. It's there for Preston. Straight to Stensness. They're all up a bit ahead of him. And now Lomu is chasing hard here.
Yes, and well read, Lee Stensis. Once again, the South defence did have the North covered, and he just angled it into the corner just to put his side on attack.
So there's Oliver floating one in, outside arm. Again, that's a law change that I don't like personally, Greg. I'd like to see them take it out of the books and bring it in as any arm, either arm again.
That's right, just so long as the ball gets back, Keith.
Exactly, yeah. We have a few stoppages with the outside arm. That's Robin Brook, Bashop to Bashop. And again, that good thump from Stephen Bashop.
Once again, good kick from Stephen Bashop. But going back to that line out, I suppose the referees are conscious of players falling all over each other, and the use of the outside arm sometimes creates a little bit more of that.
So Nick Moore wants to come back into the game. To go. Kelly has lost it behind him. Picked up though by Timmins. So there's Timmins into the second row with Grant Kelly. Well, Nick Moore ran onto the field and then had to run off again. So for a while they had 16 on the field in South Island, and nobody complained here at Carisbrook. And there is Forrest with the catch, or he's lost it. Henderson and Preston going for the loose ball. Bit untidy here.
Yes, a good kick though from John Preston, putting pressure on. Here's Nick Moore coming out now wearing number 18. But a good kick from John Preston, Keith, putting it up there, allowing the followers to contest the high ball.
Nick Moore there is having perhaps the biggest game of his career. Larson into Brewer. The referee has seen the knock on. So the referee is now talking to Nick Moore about it still bleeding, and he wants it to go and be fixed again. And so the referee is saying you can't have beyond the field with blood, and that's the cut under the eye that's the problem. Now Stu Lowe is ready to come back into the game again. It's the biggest game of Nick Moore's life because he was in that New Zealand development team that went to Argentina last year, and this is a notch up from that. But I don't know what they're messing around for. If there's blood, he's got to go off. It's 11 points to 5, the South Island lead, and there are 27 minutes gone first half. Sun gently shining here at Carisbrook as Preston's on to Bashop. Stephen Bashop fumbles that one. And now he gets away from Larson. And that kick went out directly. So, Greg, it's a stop-start game. It's not a great game. We had that early try by Wilson, but apart from that, not a lot that's thrilled us.
That's right. I suppose the first big pressure game of the season for a lot of these players, apart from the Super 10, and it's player against player for the test spots. So, yeah, a little bit of nerves, a little bit of anxiety.
Craig Dowd. Preston. Spencer. Stensness. Bunce left out. Rush. Look at Matson, done by Matson, number 13 for the Whites. And this is hard rucking here. Preston. Away to Spencer. This is Lee Stensness. Well recovered. It bounced off his head and then back into his hands again. Larson driving hard towards the line. And here is Olo Brown pushing through again, and Robin Brook. There's the goal line right there. This is desperate stuff. And it's now Michael Jones in front of Spencer to Bunce. Flighted to Wilson. He's caught by Frank Bunce. Goal line there. Rush. Lomu's second try. Now he's unselfishly puts it out to Zinzan Brook, and the try is scored. Altogether too much pressure and continuous play from the North Island. They deserved that try.
Yes, that's right. Too many rucks, committing too many of the South players. Here we see the long pass from Eric Rush to JONAH Lomu. Then he could have probably done it himself, but out to Zinzanbrook for the try.
Second look, I thought for sure that Lomu could have got there, Greg, but he unselfishly let it go. It dipped a bit on Zinzanbrook, but he's got great handling skills, and he put it down. Zinzanbrook scores the North's second try. And it's a one-point game at the moment. And here's a second look at John Preston in the goal-kicking department today. And that is also away from Preston. So it's 11 points to 10. The try by Zinzanbrook is unconverted here at Carisbrook in Dunedin.
You were just saying there about the continuity of play, and right then the North had the rucks and were able to expose the South Island. So that's what I'm sure Laurie Mains and the other selectors will be looking forward to today.
And Laurie Mains and the selectors will be announcing two teams after the game this afternoon. That's the New Zealand 15 against Canada. That's to be played at Palmerston North next Saturday. New Zealand 15 against Canada live next Saturday night. And the squad, the New Zealand squad of 22, will also be announced today. They're going to have a game in Hamilton as the Harlequins, I think it is. Some people will be in both of those teams. Halfway line. Outside arm again. Basham. Brewer. Two Canterbury teammates there. Brewer, of course, used to play down here in Dunedin. Simon Forrest. Also used to play here in Dunedin for University a long time ago. There's Basham's big kick across. And my word, he's having a sweet game with his boot. Stephen Basham this afternoon.
Yes, he looks very well balanced, under control mentally, and his brother, as I said before, Graham and Stephen combining well for the South Island.
4869 drive it. 4869 drive.
The referee is saying support is okay, lifting is not. You can support at the top of the jump. You can't lift them to get there. Big crash there when Robin Brooke met Nick Moore, but there it is for Basham midfield. Graham Basham. Joseph had a look at the man and lost it. Henderson, Matson. Tumbai Matson goes down 15 metres out. It's coming for the South. Basham away to Stephen. There's advantage being played for offside. Forrest to Brewer. The referee, is he going to play his advantage for offside? A penalty for the South. Basham is going back. Will he take it quickly? It's going to be the shot at goal.
Well, good play there from the South Island, creating rucks. Forrest running, hitting hard, and then feeding the ball back into Brewer. But here we see Sean Fitzpatrick feeding the ball back into Brewer, and he just tripped over the legs of Eric Rush, and the movement came to a standstill.
Through it goes, 33 minutes gone. Jeff Wilson's third successful kick today, and it's 14 points to 10, the South Island lead. Here's Ian Jones, the Stensness. Oh, lovely run by Stensness. He might cook up a little try for Lomu. They're onto him again, but he's got it down again. Good call by the referee. Second try for JONAH Lomu. He's like a big bulldozer, this bloke. They just can't stop him. A lovely try there. Well, it wasn't pretty, but it was well taken by Lomu.
Yes, that's right. Here we see on the replay, the ball was a bubble ball from the kickoff. Paul Henderson tapping it back. Ian Jones getting it onto Stenson. Stenson uses his feet well, getting on the outside of the South Island there. And then the nice pass, finding JONAH Lomu. And when this far out, this close to the line, very hard to stop. Look, there's 4 South Island defenders around, still able to score the try.
Well, he got it down to my view. Here comes the pass from Stenson, floats it to Lomu. Now look, 4 players come across to stop him. 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one joins in here, but Lomu has too much momentum and power, gets it down and scores it. Lomu 2 tries. The conversion is outside, but it means the North Island have hit the lead after 35 minutes in the game by 15 to 14. And the referee has gone back and he's going to start the game with a penalty from halfway for back Catt. Apparently some of the South Island players didn't like his awarding of the try, and this is one of rugby's rarities. I think they can take this right along the halfway line. Anywhere along the line, isn't it, Jeff? Or is it right in the halfway spot?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's anywhere on the halfway line, and obviously they normally, well, must be in the middle of the field as where the kickoff's taken. I thought maybe Preston would have a shot at goal there. He certainly can kick the ball a long way. But the South Island players, Keith, were complaining that Lomu lost the ball over the line, and they weren't too happy with that try.
So Lomu and Wilson are dominating the scoring out on the near side. 2 tries each.
41-18. 41-18.
So Fitzpatrick pitches it deep to Jones. That's a good throw. Away to Robin Brook. Blair Larson, 22-metre line. Spencer, nice push. Was that man ahead? Was Bunce ahead? Wilson's going to get it and take it out.
Ball, get the ball, Jonah.
So Jones. Anton Oliver out of the blocks there, straight into Preston. That was a hard hit, and back to Basham. And this one is skied to Glenn Osmond. Now, will we see Osmond try to build it up from the back? He hasn't tried too much in the first half. It's caught by Henderson. And there is Timmins driving in 2. And now Zinzan Brook is going to play scrum half with a nice push. Forrest is coming over. And he covers that one for a dropout from the 22.
Zinzan Brook showing all the skills he has. Here we see that that run of JONAH Lomu. Here it is. Maybe the ball does spill loose.
No, well, I think he got it down. I think he got it down and he might have scored it with his torso, which is completely allowed.
And the ball went back to start with anyway, Keith. So he's allowed a second grab at that after it dropped.
So the try is there for Lomu. That's his second. Zinzan Brook has one as well. No kicks for the North Island. 15 to 14 they lead. They took a while to get the big machine rumbling. But boy, when it gets out towards Lomu, he's hard to stop. Now here's Craig Dowd driving away. Joseph puts him down. Driven on again by the North Island. Spencer bunts. Osmond in. Caught by Matson, just by the shirt. There's a lot of shirt pulling in there. Now his Stensness. Timmins. Knock on. So down in the foreground, the injured player is Richard Lowe. And it seems to be a bit of a shin problem.
I think he may have got a little bit of a rucking there, Keith. He was all over that ball, and the North forwards were going for the ball, and I think they may have copped Richard Lowe just a little bit there.
Well, it's kind of mate against mate, isn't it? This one, a lot of these players have been in these summer camps. We're all the way through those hot months of November, December, January. Now they're in opposition. It's dog eat dog today. Cutthroat. The prize is a trip to the World Cup. The referee wants this one cleared. So Zinzan gets it away to Preston. Spencer, nice move. Rush, trying to crash the centre. Jones was there in very good fashion. It's coming nicely for the North now. Out to Spencer, to Stensters. The kick this time for Lomu. And he knocked it over the dead ball line. And I think it's the referee was considering a free kick there, but knocking it deliberately over the dead ball line. You can't throw the ball out or knock it out deliberately. But it wasn't ruled that way by the touch judge, and so it's a dropout from the 22. Coming towards the end of the first half. Osborne with the clearance.
I think Aaron Penne may be on running repairs to Mike Brewer. I'm not sure what happened to Mike Brewer, but number 21, Aaron Penne, has now taken the field.
I think if we weigh up the first half, this is the man who's impressed most, Stephen Bashop. A lot of authority in his game this afternoon.
Yes, and also he's been on a pack that haven't quite got the same amount of ball as the North, so he's done very well to come out with a fair amount of composure in the first half.
So South of their captain is off the field. Aaron Penne is on. Bashop, Leslie, there's Ellis. That's an old Otago move. The three of them there play on this ground a lot. Super 10s 7 days ago. Bashop, Stephen Bashop. Forrest is up. Forrest takes the tackle. Preston knows that Forrest's up, so thumps it. And he's going to get the advantage of the bounce, and that's a cruel turnaround for the South Island, but good judgment by number 9, John Preston.
Yes, good play, John Preston. As you said, summed it up, saw that Forrest was up in attack and just put it in behind and cleared the pressure from the North and put it back right onto the South.
So it's 15 to 14. And just seconds left till the half-time break. Outside arm. And the referee uses a word that commentators use a lot about lineouts, jungle. He says it's a real jungle in there. So Penne, number 21. Well, he's one of our referees heading for the World Cup. I guess we've got to say we hope he does not do the World Cup final. That's a terrible thing to say, but Colin Hawke, if he gets to do the World Cup final, that's mean because New Zealand hasn't made it.
That's right. We definitely don't want to see him there, Keith. No disrespect to Colin.
Halfway line to the left. Half-time coming up. 15 to 14. Preston. Zinzan Brook. Michael Jones at halfway. John Leslie's defended pretty well. Hasn't had many chances on attack. Preston again. He's had a pretty good first half, John Preston. Now Stencer's going again for the outside break. Lomu. Anything could happen now. Boom, one down. He gets it away to Spencer, who's going to have a go. And Spencer's going to get there. Spencer gets the points. Lomu made that one. And he made it with a powerful push through on the defence and then a very good dispatch.
Well, there is a little bit of question marks over Jonah Lomu's positional defensive play, but really when the ball's in hand, he certainly makes up for that. Here it is, his power once again very evident. In come the defenders straight over the top of Graham Bashop and a lovely pass to Carlos Spencer. And this guy has got a lot of talent, and to score in that position, to beat a couple of defenders like that, is very good rugby.
It seems to me that we've got South Islanders falling in all directions. Look at this from Lomu, straight through Graham Bashop, hands off Wilson, Penne as well, out to Spencer. The other big step now. Boom, he comes off the right foot, comes inside Forrest, and they're diving in all directions at him, but nobody could catch Carlos Spencer. Mike Brewer could be out of the game. He has a problem with cartilage problem, but Preston seizes the moment right on half-time to land his first kick, and Lomu is one of the stars too. After a shaky start, 2 tries and 1 he's made, and his team are in the lead at the break by that score, 22-14. Inter-Island Rugby from Carisbrook in Dunedin, and the second half begins. The North against the South. The North came from behind late in the half to secure 2 tries in the last 5 minutes to grab the lead, 22-14. Greg Cooper and Keith Quinn with you from Carisbrook. And there's Eric Rush. He's had a few chances only in the first half, but it's looked pretty good in the first 40 minutes. Here's Blair Larson. The North Island pack generally slow to get away, but looking pretty good in the last 20 minutes. Now look at Lomu standing out there in the wing, just standing there, but he's been a phenomenal personality in the game so far, Jonah Lomu. Stu Lowe is back on the field, passing out along the south backs. There's Batson through. He made the first try for Jeff Wilson. Basham, and that was bad luck for the South Island, Graham Basham. He just fumbled it a little. It's a knock-on.
Well, it was a great start by the South Island, Keith. They really hit the rucks hard, and unfortunately it went loose there.
Coming forward, John Preston. Jeff Wilson takes it, Lomu onto him. Well, a big change of, or a problem for the South Island is the loss of their captain. And there he is, calling out to the team from the sideline. He has a small rib injury. What do you think that means, Greg? A small rib or a minor rib injury?
Well, I hope it's only a week or so away from the game, because he's started the season very well, and he's important for, I'm sure, for the All Black cause later in the year.
Robin Brook, good jump there. Preston, Carlos Spencer. Well, he's played well in the first half too, a bit of a latecomer to the game, Carlos Spencer, but he's looked good too.
Yes, a very talented player, and showed his abilities finishing off that try created by Jonah Lomu right at the end of this first half.
Brendan Timmins, one of the South Island pack. He's got a low in front of him and one behind. Alan Penner is number 21. Michael Jones is number 7. Pushing it back through, Preston. Spencer Stensness. Basham has him. In pass to Spencer that time. Michael Jones taking it down. That was Ian Jones, sorry. Basham now. Osborne going back. Osborne hasn't looked 100% today to me. He's got that big thigh bandage on, and he's not the sparkle that he has been in previous matches. 22-14. John Preston clears for the North Island. Well, goal kicking is a worry for New Zealand as the World Cup is contemplated. Mandrew Merton's not playing today. John Preston has landed just 1 goal in the first half from 4 tries. That's good for the South Island. Stephen Basham off the left boot. High, Lomu waiting. Good catch by Lomu. He's done very well after a shaky start where he seemed to be out of position when the try for Wilson was scored. But Lomu's played his way back into the game. And look at this from Anton Oliver. Young player on the way up. Basham. Referee has a bit of sympathetic refereeing there. Rolled into one of the North players. And the number 8 was off there and ahead, and so is penalised. That's in Zanbrook.
Well, it's certainly a fast and aggressive start to the second half. Zinzan Brook and Jamie Joseph are great mates, but you wouldn't have thought so the way Jamie crashed into Zinzan there off that ruck. Very competitive, the two of them, And the game certainly, as I said, has started with the fast and furious pace here.
Jeff Wilson is going to have a shot at goal from this one. So he's landed 3 penalties and the try. He has all the points for the South Island. Good to have the old inter-island game back again. In the good old days, there was crowds of 30,000 present to watch these teams play. About 10,000 in the park here at Carisbrook today. 5 minutes gone, second half. And that's a good goal by Wilson. 17 points for Wilson, 17 for the South Island. It's 22-17 now.
Yes, a good goal for Jeff Wilson. Very timely. The pressure was put on by the South, and he responded with getting 3 points, which capitalised on that early pressure.
A loose ball, Paul Henderson and Craig Dowd. Preston, Lee Stensness. Ian Jones, nice handwork there, straight out now to Carlos Spencer, pushing behind Wilson and Lomu. Simon Forrest. So it'll be a North Island throw in.
A great opportunity here for the North Island backs, and Spencer just relaying the message to the rest of his backs. Possibly a link up with JONAH Lomu, maybe off Carlos Spencer's shoulder.
A loose ball, Henderson and Jones. And that's against Henderson. Now, that's not the first time we've seen that in this game. And Henderson penalised. He interfered on Jones before they had the ball. It stopped him getting to it. And so what are they doing? Are they taking a shot? A little bit of a discussion. There's no ball to do anything. They haven't indicated to the referee what they want to do yet. And they're not they're tapping. Preston. Wow, look at that. Not a hand laid on him, and he surprised even himself, I think. John Preston gets the try. A 10-point gap in the game again. Look at this. I think the second time Preston handles the ball, he taps it. The second time he gets it, nobody touches him.
Yes, it's magic here from John Preston. A good little dummy. And I think Steve Bashop coming up to take the other man, and Preston just waltzed through.
Here it is again. Preston through untouched, and his goal has gone over as well. He's kicked it, and it's 29 points to 17. The North lead the South. 7 minutes gone, second half. So some gaps appearing in the South Island defensive systems. And Preston is impressing at half-back. So too is Carlos Spencer. It's all about taking opportunities, Greg, and as a guy's called into the team a little late, that's all about, because Lee Stensel was originally supposed to have that jersey, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. And Carlos Spencer, as I mentioned before, a gifted footballer, probably having the better ride behind the black pack here today. But it's all very well to get the ball, but then you've got to do something with it. And Carlos Spencer has had a very good first half and started the second half well, just as impressively as the first half.
You see Laurie Mains and the selectors up in the stand there, Colin Meads and Brian Law. They played in a few inter-island games between them. Straight out to Eric Rush this time. Osman up from fullback. Lovely run by Osman. Ellis gets him in the end. Rush. And Michael Jones puts it out. Henderson came across as well. Glenn Osmond coming in and looking a bit like the old Glenn Osmond there.
Yeah, good to see Glenn Osborne stretching out. He has got a ton of speed, just trying to take on Mark Ellis. Doing it initially, but then Ellis coming back.
It's a 12-point lead to the North Island. Some big men coming right in their forward pack. And it's gone out to the open now. Pena, who has been in good form early this year, takes it. Joseph now protecting it. Stephen Basham getting good distance from his kicks. Basham through on Preston. Now this has gone to the open field. Osborne. Lomu's fallen back, but it's a kick through by Osborne. He bounces it on the touchline, and across it goes. He has not yet been an All Black, Glenn Osborne. He's played for New Zealand at the Sevens game only, and he wants to make 1995 his year.
Well, he's going from strength to strength. He started off a few years ago and as a good player, and has really built on that and had a tremendous season last year for North Harbour.
Timmins high, Basham to Wilson. A bit awkward to run with, and just a bit slippery over there. So the North are 20 metres out now. And there's a quick throw. Joseph Asu on Preston. Larson out the 22. Preston gets it. A good tackle on him by Oliver, and but nevertheless a very good kick. Forrest bangs it down to the touch. That's a very good kick from Simon Forrest. Parallel to the touchline, he drills it right up to halfway.
It's an excellent kick, Keith. He had no room to work in and really got onto that, and a great clearance from Simon Forrest.
So he came from Southland. He was previously in Otago at Otago University. In fact, 10 of the South Island squad previously played at some stage for Otago University Club. And that's the club that's provided the most All Blacks. Great long history of the game. 35 players have played for both islands, including Greg Cooper here alongside me. And people like David Kirk and Wilson Winneray, Kel Tremaine played for both the North and the South Islands. Penne to Basham. To Wilson. Good hit on him by Michael Jones.
Yeah, good blindside play there, well covered up by Michael Jones. Good hands finding Jeff Wilson, running hard out wide, and then Michael Jones just stopping the movement with a good tackle.
Well, there's a lot of talk about the front rowers and how many the selectors might take to the World Cup. 3, there's some talk about there being 4. Spencer's kicked up the touchline. Well, Michael Jones figures in the formula for the All Black team at the World Cup. Because he doesn't play on Sundays, it means the selectors may take 15 forwards and 11 backs to have an extra forward to cover for when he's not available. There's Olo Brown, 30 metres out. Preston, Larson, Jones, the 2 North Harbour players there. Michael Jones out in midfield. The tackler was Penne. And that's generally untidy.
Well, the South Island just not getting that set phase ball, and North Island just able to dictate at present. Michael Jones starting to feature, but good defence from the South just to hold them out at this stage.
Who do you reckon might be captaining the South, Greg? Would it be Paul Henderson, do you think? Now that Brewer's off the field.
I think he'd like to. I'm not sure if he is.
Penne takes Zinzan Brook down. It's coming for Preston. Out to Osborne, who's up. Basham has him. Eric Rush has gone in there. Sorry, that's Lomu gone in there. Preston, a long lineup out here. Straight out to Bunce. Fumble. They're all over the top of each other. It's a bit untidy. Ellis. Basham. He's got Forrest with him. A nice pass to Forrest. And now Stephen Basham again. And it's gone to Paul Henderson. And now Penne's lost it forward. Advantage will apply. Glenn Osmond kicks it. And Ellis takes it. The whistle's gone. There was an advantage being played back there. Good tackle by Glenn Osmond.
A good play from both sides. Forrest and Basham combining, and then a lovely pick out from Osborne to clear the ball, just skying it infield. And the referee calling the first initial knock on from Aaron Penne.
22 metres line to the right. 29-17. The North team and the Black, they lead. 16 minutes gone, second half. Remember that next weekend, New Zealand 15 play Canada, and that team's being announced later today. This young man here might have played his way close to that team. And a New Zealand squad will play in Hamilton on Sunday against Waikato. But they're playing under some other name, President 15 or Harlequins Club or something. And so it's a busy weekend. Both those matches on One World of Sport. Blair Larson making the most of it to Ian Jones. And that's one that Ian Jones will talk about for a long time. The day he galloped it in from 25 metres. Cooked up for him by his North Harbour teammate Blair Larson.
As here we see the tap down there, not finding Graham Basham. Larson latching onto it. He draws Mark Ellis and then finds Ian Jones. Ian Jones for a lock is very quick indeed, and the defence is not able to get him. So a very good try by the North.
Well, I remember Ian Jones when he first came into rugby as a skinny kid from North Auckland, as it was called then. He used to run a lot out in the open, and that reminded me of that as he ran it in. And it's 34-17 now for the North Island team. Preston. Good kick. Very good kick indeed by Preston. 36-17. Preston's now kicked 3 consecutive conversions.
Converted by number 9, John Preston. Short long 36, down long 17.
Well, sad day for Nick Moore. There's the battle-scarred face. He's off and watching. Preston off the left foot. Very good kick indeed. And they're going to go for the quick throw. It's from Basham into Forrest. Zinzan Brook is back. Now, he loves to kick the ball. We know that. Remember that test match last year at Wellington where he had several drop kicks at goal. Now they've done the same thing again. I'll tell you what, if Jones had grabbed that one, he'd have been in under the sticks again. The referee didn't rule it as a knock on. Ellis gets away from Robin Brook. Inside to Matson. Henderson. Penne. Leslie. Kelly. All of these guys, they want tickets to the World Cup. 22 metres line. Basham. John Leslie. In front of Matson. In fact, it was a forward pass. Bad luck for John Leslie there. He made a nice cut through. He's very disappointed.
Oh, great play from the South there. Attacking the North. The ruck, I thought, had taken too long. Leslie decided to come inside. And unfortunately, the pass just not finding the outside. And the great play, great team play from the South Island.
It's a pretty good sort of a game. 36-17. The North lead. South put all manner of players into that last attack. Good pass by Brook. Gave space to Osmond. Now to Lomu. Spencer. Over halfway. Was taken out. What's the referee Hawk say? Is letting play run down. He's He's been in the play a lot. The former Waiapehu College boy who played first-class rugby first when he was 16. Look at this, he kicks it on, and then it seemed that he was blocked by Forrest. Robin Brooke, Preston, straight to Lee Stensness. Fast again, Spencer. Remember, Carlos Spencer was preferred in the New Zealand Colts team ahead of Andrew Mertens last year for the big game on the Sydney Football Stadium, which they won. Basham. Osborne is waiting. The two fullbacks meet. Eric Rush. Preston was heading out towards Lomu, but he was ahead of the man. And that's a very good kick by Lee Stensness.
That's clever play from Stensness there. It may have been on to move it to Lomu, but he decided just to calm things down a little bit and put it into the corner. And he's got great vision, and he used that very wisely there.
So the Auckland is an inside-back competition of Stensness and Spencer's going pretty well. North Island coached by the Auckland coach Graham Henry this afternoon. Well, taken by the South, a tap there, good push off by Basham onto Preston. Not 10 metres. Taken in there by Penne. They ran into the referee, but he says get on with it. The rule usually is if the referee interferes, it's no advantage. But it didn't interfere with the play. Basham, Stephen Basham, Matson, Forrest, and Ellis has open country ahead. Osborne tips him over, and it was a good hit. Look at Fitzy back there on the 22. Preston, caught by Wilson, who's come right in from the left.
Oh, that's good play from both sides there. Glenn Osborne doing the job required of him. Mark Ellis, not an easy player to stop one-on-one, and Glenn Osborne came up with the goods. Here we see Mark Ellis just probably stepping a little bit early, and Glenn Osborne hitting in very hard. Well done from Glenn Osborne.
Yes, he stopped him. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't textbook, but he stopped him. Preston having a good game this afternoon. Wellington halfback John Preston started a little slowly in the goal kicking department, you could say that as well, but he's going well second half. Well, the North Island might set a record here today. It's 36 so far. Look how far back we have to go to get a higher score. Grant Kelly. Henderson's done good work in there. Basham. Joseph. Larson holds it. Pretty even contest among the flankers. Timmins, Stephen Basham, Leslie. And that was Zinzan Brooks' hit, which jolted the ball forward.
Yes, good defence, Zinzan Brook, but John Leslie just starting to come into his own here. Did a good pass to Mark Ellis before, and here we see him just seeing a half gap going through it, but good defence from Zinzan Brook.
So Larson running to a new midfield position. Michael Jones. Oh, well, they might clear it. Yes, they have. Spencer. Stensness, nice pass. Put Stensness into space. And now Bates. And now Rush. Spencer. Another excellent try. And he's having a great game. Carlos Spencer.
It's a great team try once again from the North Island, and Carlos Spencer finishing off. Here we see Spencer to start with, on to Stensonis. He links up well. Well done from Frank Bunce to come on the inside. And so does Eric Rush, just coming in field here. And then on to Carlos Spencer in a lot of speed and finished off in fine style.
Look at it again from Bunce. They all had a good sense of where each other was on the field when the attack was really swinging. Rush to Spencer, and then he just puts $10 to get there first. Right on the nose and bolts in. Lovely shot that. And lovely try for Carlos Spencer. And John Preston, 41-17. Through it goes. That's the highest score the North Island have ever put up in the whole of the series, which dates back to 1897. 43-17. Time gone, 26 minutes, second half.
Murder by number 9, John President. North Island 43, South Island 17.
So the South Island haven't scored a try in the second half. They had the lead for a long time. Led 14-10 after 33 minutes of the first half. Good push against the maul here from the South pack. Fitzpatrick breaks away. Fitzpatrick's still running. Remember, we haven't had another test halfback hooker since 86. There's Lomu about his first real go in the second half. Jonah Lomu.
And probably one of the stronger tackles of the day put in by Simon Forrest on Jonah Lomu there. But it's been a good performance from the North, right from the steady front row, steady platform in the front row, to very good line-out work. And it's been hard for the South Island pack. They've come across a very good North Island pack today.
I think both the halfbacks today would be pretty pleased with the way they've gone. There they are, Bishop and Preston, two former Canterbury men. Preston began the series a bit of a season, a bit of a dark horse in terms of the favouritism of halfbacks, but he's played his way right up there today. And of the first 5/8 we're seeing today, Stephen Bishop has confirmed his class, but Carlos Spencer might have come up the charts. Preston, Spencer, Rush, caught by Matson. Spencer, busy. Stensonis. Osborne up. 22 metres to go. 43-17, Matson. And Jamie Joseph might have got away in the way of Graham Bishop. Spencer again, Bunce, Stensonis, Rush, Eric Rush, another good try. North Island showing their class now. Eric Rush is in.
It's a good try to the North Island. Started once again by winning the first phase ball. Here we see a clearance from Preston. Rush looms on the outside here. Stensonis finds Rush, and then he just comes against the grain, stepping inside, breaks the tackle of Forrest, and then just straight underneath the posts. Good try to North Island.
Well, Eric Rush, he's on the edge of favouritism for selection of the All Blacks, but that was a well-taken try. There's the kick from Preston. Through it goes, and the 50 is up for the North Island. They lead by 50-17. So there's a quick kickoff taken by Rush. Matson and Ellis with him. Bunce there. Jones. Preston. Taken by Graham Bishop. That was deflected to midfield. Players all over the park. Here's Simon Forrest. The edge of the cricket pitch is sticky this week. Aaron Pennack. Bishop. Henderson. Stephen Bishop! Good tackle by Glenn Osborne. Oh, the ball was out. The referee is playing advantage for it. but not for the penalty. It was a knock-on, lost forward.
Yes, good play once again, and Glenn Osborne. Here's Stephen Bishop trying to go inside Glenn Osborne. Well done from Glenn Osborne. And then the crowd thought Osborne got on the way there, but just a little wee knock-on from the North Island.
Bishop. Wide to Ellis. Good finish, Mark Ellis. Popular figure on this ground. And that's a try for Mark Ellis.
Here we see Mark Ellis with just the open spaces, an easy run to the line for him, and he's a very good finisher and finishes off well.
Some good wingers in this game with Mark Ellis and Jeff Wilson for the South Island. Here's Wilson with the conversion, but Eric Rush and Jonah Lomu playing well for the North. And Jeff Wilson sends this one very close, but it's again away, and it's 50-22. The try by Mark Ellis is unconverted. So there's Carlos Spencer kicking. Anton Oliver. Back to Basham. Well off the floor to his brother. Leslie. Matson. Michael Jones over the top. Stephen Basham away to Timmins. Back to Wilson. It's Wilson and Osborne. Here's Glenn Osborne. He's got time to go back. And eyeballs it. Jeff Wilson. So you can see a bit of the sting has gone out of the game, a few smiles out there. The result is not in doubt now, 50 points to 22. Well, I think the two first 5/8s have played outstandingly today. Stephen Basham and Carlos Spencer. Preston's had a good one as well. So too has Basham. So that is interesting that everybody close to the scrum has gone well. Forrest. So just 7 minutes left in the game. At half-time, the North led by 22-14. But they scored 4 tries to 1 second half. This young man will have learned a lot from today. Anton Oliver. Larson. Robin Brook. Stensis caught by Timmins and Lowe. Preston. He's doing some exit work, and there upsetting is Richard Lowe. Spencer. Butts. Osborne again up the middle. Now it's 1-on-1, the two fullbacks. He's a hard man to stop. Wilson flying. It passed to Spencer. Good work, Wilson. But it's not over yet. Jones is there. Fitzpatrick is there. And down in the foreground, Carlos Spencer has taken a tumble. There was some very skilled play here indeed. Bunce was playing at first 5 there, and he in-passed to the man who gave him the ball, but it went instead to Osborne. Now, this was difficult for Forrest. Osborne went wide, and look at Wilson flying in from the right. And he doesn't just stop when he gets past Osborne, he carries on and gets Spencer. Spencer fell heavily there, and it looked like it could go on for a try from here, but it wasn't to be. Carlos Spencer playing with a great deal of authority. Came into first-class rugby when he was just 16 years of age at Horowhenua. And now he's gone to the big smoke and has stepped up a notch from that today. And he might have played himself into further consideration for the New Zealand team. Carlos Spencer. With him is Lee Stensness. Time running is 5 minutes to play. North against the South, the first game since 1986. The South scrum and a backslide. Penne drives out to the 5-metre mark, caught by Michael Jones. Graham Basham. Stephen Basham, that's an attacking little pop kick for Ellis. Well done, Ellis. Rush rides him down. Matson. Steve Basham to his brother. And he's playing loop-the-loop with Stensness. Forrest. And Lomu monsters him into touch in the corner. Well, a lot of people said in 1994 that this man couldn't corner flag. Well, there's the great example that he now can. So the North Island have taken everybody out of the line out here except for two, so South have to take all of their forwards back 10 metres, which really means that North have gotten about 10 and there to 2, and so they obviously get the ball. It's a crafty trick of the modern game. Only a few minutes left to play. 50 points to 22. Ofisa Tonu'u is on for the North Island. Preston is off. Ellis a quick throw in. Straight to Forrest. To Tumbai Matson. Graham Basham to Matson. The little hop and skip. And Matson was into space. Rush. It must be hurting now. Rush could go all the way. Now look at Jeff Wilson come across. And Leslie, lovely tackle Leslie. And Jeff Wilson kicks it up to his mates on the terrace. John Leslie had it covered all the way. Eric Rush couldn't quite get there. It is really hurting now. Look at this run by Rush. Now, when we get into the wide shot, you'll see there was Leslie and Wilson. Now, I was watching Wilson coming from the top of the picture, but look at Leslie down in the foreground. He's got real speed and lined him up and nailed him. Good and proper. Settled his hash. A free kick. It's a good game. It's all over the park. It's everyone trying to impress the selectors. Remember, a New Zealand 15 and a New Zealand squad will be announced later this afternoon. Osborne. In pass to Junior Tonu'u. Ellis gets him. Jones plays scrum half. Preston is there, so it's actually Carlos Spencer who's gone off. Preston's move out to place to first 5. Anton Oliver disrupts. Lee Stensness. Richard Lowe grabs him by the collar. Osborne, Fitzpatrick, great skills. Good pass to Wallow Brown. Ian Jones, same corner. Second try for the big long streak. Big and tall, but playing like a winger. Ian Jones gets his second try. 55 to 22. Super game all over the park. And if this is the game that Laurie Mains wants New Zealand to play, then here are the leading contenders playing it very well and showing they can run it right out to the end of the 80 minutes. Look at Fitzpatrick pulling it in with one hand, the pass away to Wallow Brown, 2 front rankers and a second rower there, and it's the second rower, Ian Jones, who takes the little reverse pass from Brown and sets sail for the corner. Well played, Ian Jones, Wallow Brown, Fitzpatrick, all the big forwards up late in the game. That must be heartwarming to Laurie Mains. Preston is out at first 5/8 now, and that is where he may cover the first 5 position at the World Cup. The kick is away. 55 to 22. We'll be hearing from Laurie Mains afterwards. I think he'll be pretty pleased with the way it's gone. Ross Cooper to his right, the other selector. We've seen 11 tries in this afternoon's game. It's 8 tries to 3 to the North Island. Tonu'u away to Preston. Stensness wide to Rush. Lee Stensness backing up. Osborne, who had a slow beginning to the game but has done a lot of good work. Jones also has done good work, especially in the second half. Stensness kicks to Forrest. South Island just a little bit ragged getting back now. Simon Forrest gets away from Lee Stensness. Craig Dowd hangs on to him. It's close to the end now. Zinzan Brook throws it deep. Forrest has had it out in the middle there. Glenn Osborne, straight through the middle, he could go all the way. He gives it out instead to Tonu. Basham. Tonu, lovely pass. Larson couldn't quite pull it down and might have tipped it forward. And that is the end, is it? It is. A very fine game. The North-South game is back, and the North Island have scored their highest ever score in the history of the game. But more than that, Sean Fitzpatrick and all of these players have signalled by the playing of a very classy trial that if this is the way New Zealand is going to play it at the World Cup, they can play it well. The score is 55-22, and it's an 8-try-to-3 win for the North Island, and they thoroughly deserved it.